What if the moon was made of glass? Not a metaphor, not poetic exaggeration, but literally a giant, shiny orb of fragile glass hanging above us in the night sky. It sounds like the kind of question a child might ask after staring at a window too long, but let's run with it. The answer is, the universe would be both spectacular and catastrophic at the same time. And yes, telescopes would instantly become the most popular hobby in human history. First, let's think about what the moon looks like today. Our dusty, rocky companion reflects sunlight back at us, making the night less terrifying and giving poets something to write about when they can't sleep. But swap all that rock and dust for glass, and suddenly the moon becomes a cosmic disco ball. Instead of the soft, pale glow we're used to, Earth would be bathed in strange, fractured beams of light. Every full moon night would look like a laser show gone horribly wrong. Cities would have sharp streaks of brightness slicing across the sky. Forests would sparkle like glitter. And somewhere, a group of werewolves would be very, very confused. But it wouldn't just be beautiful. A moon made of glass would be, to put it lightly, a terrible idea for structural integrity. The real moon has survived billions of years of asteroid impacts. A glass moon. One pebble-sized space rock slamming into it at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour would create cracks big enough to make a stained glass cathedral jealous. Over time, the surface would be spiderwebbed with fractures. Eventually, one big impact could shatter whole sections like a windshield after a car crash. Imagine looking up at the night sky and watching shards of glowing lunar glass tumbling through space. Romantic? Maybe. Safe? Absolutely not. And those shards wouldn't just stay in space. Gravity has a way of turning cosmic debris into falling disasters. Huge chunks of lunar glass could rain down through the atmosphere, lighting up as fiery meteors before slamming into the ground. Some would break apart harmlessly, but others might hit oceans or cities. Future archaeologists might not dig up dinosaur bones or ancient pottery. They dig up skyscrapers sliced in half by moon glass. Humanity would live in constant fear of what is essentially a giant, fragile chandelier dangling above their heads. But let's be optimistic for a moment. If the moon didn't shatter right away, what would it do to Earth's environment? Glass is reflective, sure, but it's also transparent. Instead of the soft lunar glow, nights could be eerily dim because most of the sunlight would pass straight through. In fact, the moon might not even look white anymore. It might look almost invisible, like a ghostly bubble in the sky. The tides, of course, would still work the same. The moon's gravity wouldn't change just because it's glass. But imagine going for a midnight walk along the beach with almost no moonlight to guide you. Stars would look sharper and clearer, but the ocean would be darker and scarier. Sailors might curse the glass moon for robbing them of their ancient navigation partner. Now here's a fun twist. What if the glass wasn't perfectly smooth, but slightly uneven, like frosted windows? That would turn the moon into a giant magnifying glass in the sky. Sunlight passing through it during the day might focus beams down toward Earth. Random spots of desert could suddenly burst into flame, like an ant under a kid's magnifying glass experiment. Imagine the headlines, "Entire town accidentally vaporized by moonbeam." It would be the most ridiculous insurance claim in history. Culturally, the glass moon would probably inspire a whole new wave of mythology. Ancient civilizations looked at the rocky moon and saw gods, rabbits, or faces. With a translucent, fragile moon above, people might believe the heavens were made of crystal. Entire religions might emerge around the idea that the moon was a sacred glass orb crafted by divine hands. And you can bet humans would try to reach it, not for science, but for souvenirs. The first astronaut to bring back a moon glass shard would become a billionaire. Jewelry stores would line up to sell necklaces made of lunar crystal. Of course, wearing one might be a terrible idea. Imagine explaining to your date that the glowing pendant around your neck might be radioactive space debris. But here's the real kicker. Without a solid rocky moon, Earth itself might be in danger. The real moon stabilizes our planet's tilt, keeping our climate relatively steady. A fragile glass moon might not survive long enough to do the same. If it cracked apart, Earth could lose its stabilizing partner. Our seasons could spiral into chaos, with ice ages and heatwave swapping places unpredictably. Entire civilizations might rise and fall depending on whether the moon stayed in one piece. So, what if the moon was made of glass? In short, the nights would be prettier, the telescopes would sell out instantly, the myths would multiply, and every human would live under the constant fear of lunar shrapnel raining down from the heavens. It would be both the most beautiful and the most dangerous object in the sky. And maybe, just maybe, we'd finally learn to stop wishing for the moon, because if it were made of glass, we'd be much happier leaving it exactly where it is.